Good afternoon. We are at the Old City. Next to me, there are three children, one from Israel, two from the Word, and from UK. And we are at the Four Sephardic Synagogues. I want you to look at two things here. First of all, the synagogue is lower than the houses. At the 16th century, when the Jews came to here, because the Ottomans asked them to come to here and to help the economic system, they couldn't build synagogues. The Muslims here didn't allow them to do that. And when they've been forced by the Ottomans to let them build synagogues, they did it in two conditions. The first one, lower than the houses, especially lower than the mosque. I don't know if you can see the mosque. Right there, see the minaret? Second thing is that they can use it as a mosque, not only as a synagogue. Then you can see here the column here, it's like a round column, and it symbolizes Mecca. Mecca is that way. Then if a Muslim guy will enter to a synagogue, to that synagogue, he will know exactly that Mecca is that way, and he will be able to pray. Inside the synagogue, there are two Torah arcs, one for the Torah, the Jewish one. The other one is for the Quran. Well, that was like that until 1967. Now, the Jewish quarter is totally new. It's totally new because the Jordanians in 1948 destroyed the Jewish quarter, but they didn't destroy those four synagogues. They turned it into garbage area and a stable. Then, in that case, until 1948, you could see how it looks like. You could see that people are praying here. The good thing with it is that because of it, when we came back in 1967, we actually could purify that place and keep it as a synagogue. Look how beautiful is the door. And this is Yochanan Ben Zakai Synagogue, which is one of the oldest synagogues in Jerusalem. What I forgot to mention, this is my family of today, is that in 1948, the Jordanians used it as a stable. The good thing with it is that when we came in 1967, we only had to purify that place. They didn't destroy it. You know, they destroyed so many places here. Some of the, remember the white synagogue with the white dome that we saw next to the menorah? This is a synagogue that we rebuilt in 2010 because it's been destroyed. Then, as I told you, there are two Torah arcs. One of them was used for the Quran, and one of them used for. Now, the synagogue here is different than so many synagogues that we know, because this is a Sephardic synagogue. Sephardic are mainly Jews who came from Arabic countries, Africa, and they are using the ancient system of a synagogue, which is beautiful. At the ancient time, if we are talking about Christian, for example, Jesus visited so many synagogues, but he didn't pray there. It was a place for preaching, curing people. The synagogues became a house of prayer only after the destruction of the temple. Because before that, people prayed in the synagogue, in the temple, 3 times a year. And we are now at the time of Sukkot, one of the pilgrimage festival. Then in that case, the idea was that the Bama will be in the middle, and everyone will see him. And if you want to talk, to argue, and the Jews like to argue, you can argue, and everyone can see it. But the most important thing is not that beautiful Torah arc. Let me show you something. Let's move to the other side. No, to there. Now in most of the synagogues, we are divided men and women. The women department is right there, but because we're now using it in between the prayers as a museum, then we, women and men, can be together. I want you to look at the window, the upper window. It's difficult to see, but there is kind of a shofar. I don't know if you can see something with it. And kind of a vase full with olive oil. We believe. Oh, let's start with that. Yochanan Ben Zakai was a rabbi, a very famous rabbi, who lived here just before the destruction of the temple. There was a siege. The Romans already made a siege around it. No one could leave the city. Only dead people could leave the city, dead people, because you must bury the dead outside the city. Yeah. Then he played dead. And they took him out of the city. He went to Yavne, and he wrote all the prayers. And this is the Siddur that the Jews are now praying through it. Because before that, only the priest knew the praying. Then we believe that when the Messiah will come, the Jewish Messiah, which I must tell you again and again and again, and please don't argue with me, it's not Jesus according to the Jews. When he will come, he will use the shofar, he will open the sky, and then he will use the oil to light the candles of the menorah of the future temple. And now, when we know that story of Yochanan Ben Zakai, let's go to see 2 more synagogues. Actually, 3 more synagogues, but 2 of them are there, and that's all.
What is the chair for? This
Which chair? For the... Yeah. Remember the Sephardic Jews? When they are crowned, the head of the Sephardic rabbi, this is his chair.
Okay.
Then it's so important for the Sephardic organization. And if I'm not wrong, you are part of the Sephardic? Yeah. She is part of it. And you are, of course, your brother said, but you never heard about that synagogue. And this is the most important synagogue for the Sephardic community.
Yes.
Yeah. In a way, let's go to the Middle Synagogue, בית הכנסת האמצעי, and let's hope that it's open. זה סגור לי? משם אני יכול להיכנס? Let's enter through there. No one knows who used that synagogue. No one knows who used it. Now it's so quiet because all the people are, except of that poor guy, is actually in holiday praying. Yeah. Then it looks like that before 1948. You can see the 2 groups of the Sephardic Jews sitting around. Yeah. Right here, and you can see the 2 Torah ark. It was made of wood, not like a beautiful painting that you saw now. But what I want you to see is how we found it. That picture shows you that part. Okay. Can you see the windows there? Yeah. All right. Then that's how it looks like. This is the first synagogue that we just visited. Remember the 2 Torah? Yeah. That's how we found it, but at least we found it. And there are 2 more pictures of it. You know, we've been here. We've been here. Remember, we took a picture of the beautiful gate, one of the gates. This is it. Well, it's the same place that I told you that you are covering the gate, and the gate is more important than you. Then that was, the doors. Yes, the doors. Yeah. Then let's leave now that, and let's enter to the Istanbuli one. But let me see. Yeah, it's empty. Yeah, for Istanbul. From Istanbul. We are now here at the women department. Tonight they're going to pray here all night. Hoshana Rabbah. One of the important things is to study all night. The Torah. Then look how beautiful is the synagogue. The Bama was supposed to be in the middle, but that Bama and that ark is from one of the synagogues from Italy that were captured by the Nazis. Then they brought those 2 to here, and they try to put it in the center, but it actually hide every part of the synagogue. I was here with a group, and this is a very important story. I was standing right there when you are standing, and I saw here a man that was crying. And I'm a tour guide. I need to know everything. Then we were waiting patiently, and when he sat there, I sat next to him and said, "What's happened here?" And he said, "I was here with my sister when the Jordanians occupied the city. My father, my parents, my parents lived, they were working outside the old city. Then I was here alone with my sister, and he said, he was only a few, let's say 10 years old, and he said, God, maybe I'm a sinner, but my sister is an infant, she's pure, and please kill me, but don't kill my sister. All the people that heard that story cried. I was one of them. And one of the reasons that I started to take videos is because that was one of the most important story, and I had no camera at that time. And I said, I wish that I could. And from that day, I'm carrying cameras and I'm taking videos of everything. And for me, this place is such an important place. Another important thing is that, remember the Western Wall? Yeah. And remember that King Herod built the temple that was between 2 to 3 times higher and bigger? Then look at that. If you've been in the Western Wall, you could see only the lower part, a little bit of the dome of the rock, the upper part of the dome. But you can imagine how people saw the synagogue at that time. From the Istanbuli Synagogue, we will go to visit the last synagogue, which is not less important. And this is an Ashkenazi synagogue, belongs to the European Jews, American Jews. But everything was built at the late 16th century. And because it was used as a stable, it's been saved. And it's not a story of love and hate or about bad Jordanians. This is history. Sadly, as you can see, it's well, Martin is my evidence. The city is so crowded now. Yeah, and we are the only one here because no one knows about that synagogue, and this is so sad. Yes, let's enter to that small museum. And let me talk about only one thing. This is a Torah ark. This is the cover. Sadly, I don't know why it's closed, but usually it's open that you can see the scribe that was written by a scribe. I mean, it was not printed. At 1948, it was captured by the Jordanians, and one Christian family took the Torah ark and say a Torah book and say, I will keep it until they will come back again, or I will be able to bring it back to them. And they did it. And when we came in 1967, they brought back the book to us, but we couldn't use it anymore because it wasn't kosher. Then in that case, we were supposed to bury it in a special place it's called Gniza. Okay. If we're talking about that, if you wrote a note and put it between the Westmall stones, the minute you did it, it became to be holy. Then they just cannot burn it down, cannot throw it to the garbage. They will bury it at Mount of Olives. Then in that case, maybe they already buried the book and they just kept the case outside. I will ask them, but until, let's say, 2 years ago, I could see the book. I could see the scroll itself. Then let's continue to Elijah, because I do have a surprise. Actually, no one. You're married. Yeah, no, it's not really a surprise. Yeah. All right. In every entrance, you will see a mezuzah. A mezuzah is part of the Bible. The Bible, God told us to put the mezuzah here. In it, there's a scroll, and we are blessing the house. Now, look at the mezuzah here. My dear Jews, come to here. Usually the mezuzah, is like that. True, but that one is like that. Because this is the original way. Why it's like that today? Why? No, let me tell you exactly why. No, when the Jews put it just like that, the Christian came and completed a cross. Oh. Then in that case, to avoid the cross, they started to do it like that. It's oy vey, you can say. And if we're talking about a cross, what's happened if 2 volts are meeting itself? There's a cross. 2 volts. Take shatot. There's a volt. To avoid the volt. They put all right. Now there's no.
Yeah.
It is. Now let's move to the last synagogue, and don't leave me. Don't leave that video because it's important. And until we will reach the fourth synagogue, please subscribe to my channel and send that video to everyone that you know. All right, this is a different synagogue. It's an Ashkenazi synagogue. Ashkenazi synagogue, people are sitting like a church. Of course, the men is here, the women is upstairs, all around, but it's different than the Sephardic synagogue. The ark is again from Italy. It's we actually took it after the Nazis destroyed, after the end of the Second World War, and we tried to save it, and we kept it here. In Yom Kippur, there was only 9 men here. And you know that a Jew must have 10 people to pray, a minyan. And then an old man with a white beard came to here, and he prayed with them. And at the end of the prayer, the end of Yom Kippur, he disappeared. Guys, that was Elijah himself. And Elijah sat in a special chair, and everyone who sits in that church will get married. Let me show you the chair. Oh. Yeah. But they are already been married. Then with me, you can do it. Let me see if I can. All right, here it is. Is that the real chair? No. It's a replica because it's been destroyed when the Jordanians occupied the city. I think you're going to get married. Yeah. Martin?
I'm good.
I didn't want you to sit on the chair because he already did it. I just want you to understand that. It's like, the bouquet that you're throwing.
Yes.
She did it. What about you? You're okay. Happily ever after?
Yeah.
All right. Then that was an amazing tour of a place that no one knows about. And this is our mission, to talk about it and to ask the people to visit it.
Yes.
And remember the beautiful door? It's there.
Yeah.
This is another important video of the Four Sephardic Synagogue. I will add some more information about it.
You want to ask about the book?
What book?
No, you want it.
Yeah. I will ask him. Yeah.
יש אתרוג,
Four species.
טעם, אפשר
Yes.
לאכול אותו, אפשר להריח ממנו.
Yeah, we're talking about the four
יש לו
species.
מעשים טובים
True.
ותורה.
Yeah.
יש לנו הדס,
Adas.
אפשר להריח,
Yeah.
אבל לא לאכול ולא כלום, רק להריח. יש בו מעשים טובים.
True.
יש לנו בת המינים עם סוגים
If
של
we're
עם
taking,
ישראל.
if we're taking the four species, every species, like the palm, the citron, is different. But it actually makes a beautiful story of every person in Israel, that altogether it's one nation of Israel. Then because when I enter, I say there are 3 kosher Jews, and one is so. And then he said, everyone are kosher. 4 species actually tells us about it. You're right. שמה שלי, כל פעם שאני פה אני מחדש שמח להתראות, ביי ביי. And of course the mezuzah. And they said Chag Sameach, happy holiday. And you can see that we are in the holiday of Sukkot. In front of you can see there a very big sukkah. And these are 3 boring children that already finished the bottle of water. No, the bottle is still there. All right.